let's get into what dropped this week. This week, a lot of music dropped. On it first, Mr. Eazi dropped his debut album, Evil Genius. Mr. Eazi is an artist I found very interesting over the last couple of years for a couple of reasons, right? Like my first time listening to a Mr. Eazi song was on a J Balvin album, right? And he produced on that record. And at the time, that's when I was diving into reggaeton and I was learning about the overlaps between reggaeton and Afrobeats. And so Mr. Eazi has been sort of just like in the peripheral, dropping singles, and his label. I don't know if it's a label or a company, music company, Empower. One of his artists on there is Joe Boy, who I'm a big fan of. So I definitely gave this album a couple listens over the weekend, and I will say this is a very cohesive album, right? Like it's very rare that you find an album that is able to flow together and have completely different sounds. Like from the beginning to the end, there was a lot of different types of production through here. Kelpie Vibes is one of the bigger producers on this project. He's one of my favorite Afrobeats producers. I feel like he's the one that people go to when they're looking for like a great beat. Tonio says like he'll call him hot sauce, right? They put it on everything. And anything Kelpie Vibe touches is definitely a bop. Off the first couple listens, I will say my first favorites, I always say this, my first favorites are never the last favorites. You listen to it on the first time, by 10, you have a completely different favorite. But off the first couple listens, Chop Time, No Friend, Show Them, and then Zuzu Lakate with Joe Boy. Those are my three favorite songs so far off the first couple listens. Now, my favorite project of this weekend, Blaqbonez, Emeka Must Shine. Blaqbonez has become one of my favorite rappers, period, of any continent, of any country. And I think that this is what a new age MC is going to start to look like, right? It's not going to look like somebody from New York, hat backwards, spitting a 32 over a DJ Premier beat. This is what a new age rapper is going to start to look like, right? This project was something that I didn't know was coming until the beginning of the week, but he had dropped a couple singles off of this that I really love, right? He had dropped Like Ice Spice, which is one of my favorite songs of the year. He dropped Bezos, and then he dropped Cinderella Girl early, and Bad Till Eternity. That one dropped a couple weeks ago. And I love a bunch of songs on here, right? The whole album is 14 songs and 36 minutes. And the features on here, I'm so surprised he was able to get all of these features, honestly. He has Black Sheriff, Projects, Jarek, Victini, Odumodu Block, M24, Zlatan, Young John, and Ludacris. Uh, Very interesting sounding album, right? Like I will say, something I appreciated about Afrobeats MCs is that they balance the melodies and the raps a lot better than I feel like people over here do it, right? Like there's some people over here that like do the back and forth really well. I would say Blast is really good at that. Wale is really good at that. There's two examples to give you, but I think over there, their melodies are they're just distinct and different. They're just way different than what we hear here. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like his melodies throughout the album are really good. Like Ice Spice is a crazy song. That song is crazy. But off of the new songs that I hadn't heard prior to the album coming out, I would say Masquerade featuring M24. I really like that one. Shine Forever. It feels more like an interlude than anything, but I like that one. Um, but outside of that, the songs I like most on this project are Like Ice Spice and Bad Till Eternity, which we got prior. Nija Shawty, that one with Victini is dope. Odumodu Block. The thing I appreciate about him is like I'm dying for some bars, bro, like real rap bars. You know what I'm saying? And Odumodu Block is gonna give you a little ballad or a melody. And you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that he is that versatile, you have to appreciate it. But every time I see his name, I'm like, bro, I just want you to rap. I just want you to rap. But anyway, this project was really good. You know what I'm saying? If you like rap and you're looking for what the future of rap is gonna look like, definitely check out Emeka Must Shine by Blaqbonez. And then what else do we have project wise? Of course, this probably should have been what I led with. Ravage. EP, 5 songs. I see everybody on the internet talking about how Rema is he's the chosen one, he's the next one up, and I do feel like it's too early to be saying that, but I do think he is one of the premier artists in Afrobeats right now, right? I think it's way too early to say he's surpassed or he's going to pass like a Wizkid or a Burna Boy, in my opinion, but right now, he's as hot as fish grease, bro. And this project is very interesting for a couple of reasons, right? Like it's 5 songs and it's I think 14 minutes long, and each song sounds very different. Each song sounds very different, right? My favorite song off of here so far is Smooth Criminal. My second favorite song is D&D, but I do like the other 3 songs. They're pretty solid. And I think what draws people to Rema is that he doesn't sound like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even sound like himself. I don't wanna say he doesn't sound like himself. He sounds completely different on every single song on this project, which is very rare. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare that you find an artist that doesn't sound exactly the same on every song. And those are the ones that people usually end up leaning to in the long term, right? They're very versatile. They have a ton of different bags to get into. I think that's also important, right? Like if you have the same sound and you're just completely doing the same sound over and over again, then people are going to get tired of you at some point. I think at some point they will get tired of you or they will get bored. But Rema doesn't have that problem. You know what I'm saying? It's clear that everybody, especially at the label, thinks Rema's a star. I think he's in some way working with Universal. I don't know the ins and outs of that deal, but I do know he is in ties with Universal. He's been working with a lot of different collaborators in different spaces, right? Like he just released a song with Ice Spice a bit ago. He released a song with Feed a bit ago. And that just shows you what everybody else thinks of him. And I think rightfully so. If you have to pick out of this new crop of artists, the one that's probably primed for superstardom, it's probably him. And then you also got Ashake. I throw Benson in there. I always throw Benson in there because he's one of my favorites. But right now, Rema is at the forefront of this. And I think he's doing what people love with Afrobeats. Like his melodies on here were really dope. Um, the production on here, bro. I'm pretty sure London produced on every track. Let me double check. Okay, Smooth Criminal was produced by London and P Prime. D&D was produced by P Prime. And then what I also like Don't Leave and P Prime produced that. So P Prime, somebody I'm not really aware of, but London is the Mavin Records producer, right? He's on almost I don't wanna say almost every beat. He's on every project for sure. But this is definitely a solid project. Go check it out. This is definitely new age Afro beats. It sounds completely unlike anything I've ever heard before. You know what I'm saying? And then there were 2 singles I wanted y'all to go check out as well. Uni, Counting Thunder. She's like a soul R&B type of artist. I love her voice. And as I said on here before, I love a good beat switch, right? A good beat switch is going to keep me engaged in the song. And this one I think has 2 of them. I would check that out if you're looking for something soul-like. And then Adekunle Gold released the remix Party No Day Stop featuring Baya Messiah and J.O. This is interesting for a couple reasons, right? It's a solid remix. I don't know if there's certain remixes where it's like it's gonna introduce it to a new artist. It's not for me. It's for somebody else to find it. So I get it. But I also wonder if Adekunle Gold did the remix on this one partially because of what was going on with Naira Marley. I know how do you pronounce the guy? Uh, was it Zinoliski? The guy on the original version of Party No Day Stop, he was signed to Naira Marley. And I know that he had a bunch of like legal troubles that I don't really want to get into, but it was clear that he was tied in because he's on the label. And so I wonder if they did the remix to sort of like not edge that out, but take light off of the original. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they do that a lot. But yeah, it's solid. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't hear Party No Day Stop, the first version, this one's cool too. You know what I'm saying? Byron Messiah is clearly just being put on everybody's projects right now because he's primed for whatever his next release is. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be on Chris Brown's new album, which comes out on November 11th. And I am a fan of him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out St. Kitts. If you know, you know.